Could you tell us a story of how was it the last time you moved?
Last time we moved, wow. Last time we moved from Florida to New York, and we drove the whole way. Mostly my wife. I got a job up here, and then we kind of had to move really quickly. So I was already up here for an interview, staying with my mom. And then my wife packed up everything, and then drove 30 hours.
How long was this ago?
This was 2011, fall of 2011. And then, so it was really, really crazy. We put most of our, we ended up staying with my mom, so most of our stuff went into storage, which was way more expensive than I ever thought it would be. But it's just, to me, moving is one of the worst things that you have to do. I move as little as possible. My first real apartment that I got, that my name was on the lease, was with my best friend, and we lived there for 6 years. I didn't want to go anywhere. So I've moved, and then up until the last couple of years, I had moved every year for about 4 years, and it just...
All in the same area?
I had moved to St. Louis. I had left St. Louis in 2008, and then a year later, I left New York in 2008. A year later, I moved back to New York, and then I moved to Miami, and then I moved back here. So it was just a lot of moving for a few years there. And I find it to be the worst experience possible. So next move I'm trying to make is I'm trying to buy a home, and then that will be the last one until they put me in the ground.
From all the moves that you made, especially this last one, have you kept a lot of the things that you had?
We kept most of our stuff, but we threw out most of the stuff. We usually try to sell things on Craigslist if we can. But a lot of things have just been worn down. You've had them for years. We had her bed was originally a crib, and it was like one of those things. It starts out as a crib, and then it turns into a bed as she gets older and stuff. But it was 5 years old at that point. It had a lot of damage, so we threw that out. But mostly we try to either give stuff away or sell it. But what we find up here, especially though, is if you put something out on the sidewalk, someone will take it. It will be gone. It'll be gone within a couple hours. If it's in working condition.
How did you do that in Florida? Did you actually have friends that wanted to do things, or did you do a garage sale?
In Florida, we kept 95% of our things. I think the only thing we really threw away was her bed. And that was just because it was falling apart. So we just put that out.
Do you still have things in storage? Did you end up bringing things
No,
here?
we still have, almost all of our stuff is still in storage. Yeah, 2 years.
For 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any, do you remember when was it that you felt at home here? Do you feel at home here now?
Oh yeah, I grew up here, so I do. I don't feel at home because we're still staying with my mom. But we just decided that was a decision we made. To save money and save up money to buy a home. So because we're gonna stay here, it's really good for my wife's career. Good for my career also. So being up here is much more advantageous for us as far as financially. And we really like the schools. We love the school that she's in. So for me, this is home. There's no other. When I was in St. Louis, that did not feel at home at all. So that was, and right as it was starting to feel a little bit like home, I moved. So, but this is, I feel completely at home.
Is the feeling at home? How is it related to the place that you live and the things that you have?
Oh, it's extremely. I think that's a large part of it. Not having so much of our stuff in storage is what creates, even though, it's my mom's home and that's where I grew up, but not having our stuff and, not being in your own space, it doesn't, you just never feel 100% comfortable. And having your own things and being able to access them readily was one of the major things about it. Because when we were in Florida, that felt like home. Even though it wasn't New York, where I spent, 30 years of my life, but that felt like home because it was with my family, and then all of our stuff was there, and our dogs, and we just had everything we needed was there. There's so much things now we can't even remember all the stuff we own. You know, that because it's been in storage so long. You know, so.
Are you thinking of bringing that stuff back at some point?
I mean, really, the plan is once we go every couple of months and kind of, you know, see what we have and things like that. But it's really the plan is once we buy a home, then we're gonna get all our stuff out.
So you're planning to keep things that you have? Are they like?
Oh yeah, I don't think there's anything we have in there, except maybe some of her, we have some old clothes of hers. Then those things, like we give stuff away. We try not to throw things away. We try to get, you know, we give to Goodwill, we give to, you know, any charity that'll take it.
Do you do that often? Like do you ever like have some sort of ritual going through your stuff and purging? Is that something that you used to do?
Yeah, I would say so, but not often. Probably once every couple of years. You know, I just kind of try to take. You start looking at stuff, you start feeling, you see something, and you're like, I haven't worn this in forever. Why do I still keep it? You know, and then I start to feel like personally, like someone else out here could need it, you know, and would wear it, you know, and things like that. You know, so sometimes that's I would say every couple of years we kind of try to take inventory of what we have, and then anything we're not using anymore, we give it away.
Such as what?
Clothes is a big one. Furniture as well. You know, sometimes you just want new furniture. You know, so we just or things aren't functional for us the way we live anymore. So we start to feel like, okay, we need. It's not necessarily not necessary, but it doesn't.